but as pure as the driven snow.
American moonshine is big business.
Delicious. Delicious.
High proof, low cost, untaxed, and illegal.
We're now breaking federal law.
Whether it comes from the boondocks,
you got flies and everything.
Just smell the bleach in there.
or from high-end producers.
We run year-round, rain, snow, sleet, shine. We're like the post office.
There's no hiding from the law.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Or from city slickers trying to muscle in.
Yo, I got nutcrackers.
It tastes good and it's cheap.
He's so smooth. He ain't telling you what he putting in it. You know what I'm saying?
Deep in the Appalachian Mountains, it's the first day of whiskey-making season for one expert moonshiner.
Most people tell you they've had 180 proof alcohol, ain't never had nothing higher than 100.
For 6 months a year, Roscoe works legit in the coal mines. The rest of the time, he makes a living outside the law.
We were looking for a place to set up a steel site for this year. This is the easiest way to get down the river, less chance to run into somebody. All right, we're approaching the spot. First spot I want to stop and check.
Come springtime, Roscoe heads outdoors, traveling by canoe to remote areas far from any trails.
Let's go.
He keeps his gun close. Out here, the law isn't the only danger.
That's for snakes. I've seen a few out this year. I'm looking for a good spot with cover. Seems to be pretty flat up through here, so we might have to go far to find a decent spot.
Roscoe needs two key elements for a successful and lucrative operation: secrecy and water.
Seems like we got good water supply. It's good and cold. Be good for a steel. I think I found what we're looking for. Got plenty of cover. You can see good ways somebody's coming. And hopefully this is good water. Low pH level.
But Roscoe's a long way from making any profit. He needs to get his equipment here first.
From here on out, we'll start floating in, bring a load with us. Make us a blind out of some tree limbs or whatever. It's extra cover. You can't ever have too much cover. But I think we'll be good up in this holler. I'd say last people through here is the Indians.
Roscoe's found the perfect site, hidden deep in the traditional heartland of moonshine production, the southern Appalachian Mountains. Illicit alcohol gets made right across the South. And 700 miles southwest in Holmes County, Mississippi, a special police unit is cracking down on shiners like Roscoe.
All right, who's planning on being next to last?
These enforcement agents are part of the state's alcoholic beverage control. They specialize in enforcing liquor laws and catching moonshiners.
Let's say a real quick prayer before
Yeah.
we go inside.
Dear Lord, I just ask that you be with us today, and I thank you for your protection and be with everybody and keep them safe. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen. All right, be careful, guys. They may be good old boys, but they're still criminals.
Rusty Hanna has spent over 30 years in the ABC, finding and destroying moonshine stills.
What we're doing today, we're going to execute a search warrant on a known moonshine violator.
The agents are acting on a tip.
We anticipate locating a primitive whiskey still somewhere in the near proximity to his house.
You're the man in charge here. Come on with me.
Anybody in the house, Mo?
House is clear.
You're not under arrest or anything. You're just going to sit there for our safety, okay?
The house is clear. So Rusty focuses on the outbuildings.
Spreading out a little bit now, looking to see if we can find a trail or something that lead to a still.
Got some moonshine in that refrigerator freezer here.
Whiskey. Moonshine. This more than likely was what he was consuming himself. That's whiskey. Whiskey.
But they're looking for more than a few jars of whiskey. Then the huge fuel tanks at the back of the property catch Rusty's eye.
I mean, you think about there's 1, 2, there's 3 butane tanks for one little bitty house. He's using the majority of this probably for cooking whiskey somewhere. He fill his bottles up and take them from here to wherever his still is.
Rusty's willing to cut a deal with the property owners if they give up the source of the shine.
If you help us out, we might help you out. I don't know. You don't know nothing, do you?
They're not playing ball.
They don't know nothing. They're very clannish type people. Moonshiners don't talk. He says he don't know the guy he buys his from. He's a mystery man.
But Rusty isn't deterred.
We ain't found his stash yet. This wouldn't be a bad place to hide some whiskey.
With over 30 years' experience, it doesn't take him long to spot something unusual.
A lot of traffic right here. Andy, look at, I mean, what is something doing standing right here all the time, see?
There you go.
A trunk full of old bleach bottles.
There's a gallon of whiskey.
Yeah, that's nasty.
And some mystery ingredients.
That looks like fruit. Ain't?
I don't know.
Time to make sure these bottles won't get used again. This moonshine is low quality. It's potentially deadly. Rusty's team needs to put this crew out of business, if they can find the still.
This is the bottom end of the social class for whiskey.
800 miles away in Virginia, it's Sunday morning.
Me a damn dog shot this, man.
This is where illegal moonshine often ends up. In an unlicensed bar, also known as a juke joint.
Something special. Fried chicken and dragon corn liquor.
Shotgun operates an illegal drinking den off the beaten track.
This is my little juke joint. Got like plenty of friends, and they come by. That's the little juke joint thing. Oh, right there. Moonshine. Or you just go straight to the brain.
That's what we do, baby. Cheers to the house. I'm really drunk. On the house.
Cheers. On the house.
Shotgun buys moonshine by the gallon and sells it by the shot.
That's all right.
Well, a shot now, a bootleg, you have to buy a $2 shot. Them cups up to the brim.
Regulars like Shorty choose moonshine over legal spirits.
Best moonshine they ever made in Virginia. #1, top shelf. We call this top shelf. Spencer liquor, no good. Heart problems, diseases. Corn liquor kill all germs. Just like antibiotic to the body. That's why I drink. We do not sell liquor. Only thing we do is drink it. You know it's coming from the white man. Yeah. Black folks don't make moonshine no more. But to get it from the white man.
And there's a reason why Shotgun's joint is busy on a Sunday.
If you're gonna do anything with corn liquor, do it while people at church. If you're gonna move it, do it Sunday morning. All the nosy folks at church.
Sunday's supposed to be the day of rest, right? Everybody's in church, probably where I should be, but got some orders to fill. People waiting, all the time waiting.
Back up in the mountains, Roscoe's customers are keeping him busy.
Care to set that up for us? Up there where the two creeks meet.
Today, he and his buddy are starting the long process of making moonshine.
My helper, he got freed up today, so that's gonna make my job a lot easier. I'm gonna set my little stove up so we can start heating some water.
They need plenty of water for this first stage of production.
We need downhill pressure. You gotta be above your still, if not, the water won't flow. We got water. Today's the day we get the mash started. reason of heating your water up, if you're using outdoor water, it will sterilize it. And you gotta have warm water to make sure all your ingredients dissolve together. Sugar is a very key ingredient.
Roscoe spent a long time perfecting his recipe.
I had an old man tell me, how to get started. He told me just enough to get myself in trouble. A lot of trial and error, and I found what worked best for me, and that's what I've stuck with. Mix the cornmeal in, give that good corn whiskey flavor to it.
The mash could also provide a tasty treat for some of the area's local residents.
Hopefully a big old bear don't smell that big sweet can of mash, come try to get him a big drink up, knock it over. That'd be catastrophic. I'll see you in a minute. Yeah, that tastes just about right, just perfect. I add the yeast and very secret ingredient.
Adding yeast speeds up the sugar's transformation into alcohol. But like all moonshiners, Roscoe keeps the details of his recipe secret.
Put the lid on that one, call it done.
Roscoe needs to hide his mash well and hope the cold nights don't kill the fermentation.
Just a little extra added security and temperature control. And this temp. Now, the mash is complete.
In a single run, this barrel of mash can produce 12 gallons of moonshine and a $1,000 profit. But it'll be 3 days before Roscoe can return for phase 2, distillation.
There's several little buildings out behind the trailer me and Tony are coming.
If you see a good trail, just call us.
Okay.
700 miles south in the Mississippi Delta, Rusty Hanna and his alcohol beverage control agents continue their search for a well-hidden moonshine operation.
We found a hog pen over here. It's got a barrel full of spent mash that he's feeding the hogs.
There's some bacon. That's rye.
And a pork butter bean or two mixed in there, go.
That's spent mash that they've made whiskey with. And it's not strong enough to make whiskey anymore. And so he's feeding it to his hog. He's producing more spent mash than he can feed to his hog.
Another telltale sign that there's an operating still nearby. Then Rusty catches a break. A call comes in from a search party. They've made a major discovery.
Hey, y'all go get that liquor up yonder.
They got to stay there.
Okay, where's that?
Yes, they're trying to give it to me.
The trail's behind that resident location all the way to the back.
Roger that. We coming to your location.
Looks like a 6-barrel.
6-barrel.
They just located a still over here in the woods. So we'll get to go see an active operation.
But to make an arrest, Rusty's got to catch the moonshiners red-handed. Mississippi enforcement agents have hit the jackpot deep in the woods. A working moonshine still.
Oh, it's bad hot.
It's a major 6-barrel operation that the moonshiners abandoned mid-cook.
There was a white vehicle coming out of the driveway when we got here. And was looking in his mirror, watching y'all pull in, thinking, whew, I got lucky.
The still is filthy.
This is what we call a real primitive still. Not many people put them in the woods anymore. That in this area, this rural county we're in, it's pretty common. Rat. Oh, that rat don't go up Mark's leg.
It's a mash barrel. Yeah, you can see you kind of got flies and everything. It's definitely not sanitary. You could have raccoons, any kind of wildlife. We're in the middle of the woods right now. Smells that it's sweet, it's fall inside. Sometimes they'll drown it. Product is expensive. They don't want to throw that product away. They'll take that animal out, maybe scoop a little bit out where it was in, and then continue the process.
It's probably pretty high.
Still smell the bleach in there.
These guys will just use anything that'll hold whiskey. Yeah. Ain't that what you want to drink? This guy here could make about 50 gallons of whiskey a week. He's probably clearing about $700 a week, clear money, after his expenses.
But they need to catch the moonshiners red-handed to prosecute them. So today, there's only one thing left to do.
Decommission it. We'll just destroy everything here where you can't use it again. Come on now, you look like a girl.
Despite its poor quality, Rusty knows there's a ready market for this product.
There's a certain amount of the population that has a demand for it. They want moonshine. You can buy legal moonshine, which is non-aged whiskey, in the store, but they'd rather have this rot gut, high alcohol content moonshine. And I really don't know why, other than the price.
Rusty and his team have put this operation out of action for now. But as long as demand remains high, even the worst shine producers will stay in business. And that's bad news for drinkers.
People who are distilling it to make money. They don't care about quality controls. They're going to be selling to people they don't know.
Dr. Chris Holsteg has a special interest in backwoods moonshine and its potential health risks. His findings show that many black market moonshine producers cut corners.
When you talk about bad moonshine, you're talking about people who are distilling it in items that you wouldn't want it distilled in. We have about 50 samples of moonshine that we obtained from the Illicit Whiskey Task Force, and we found lead in the majority of the samples. They're using lead pipes. The heating process are going to cause the lead to leach out and then become part of that alcohol. For example, some samples over 500 parts per billion.
That's over 30 times the legal limit for lead in drinking water. Over time, bad moonshine can be deadly.
We have no good way of getting lead out of the body, so it just keeps building up, building up. If they get high enough, they can cause your brain to swell, and that can kill you.
But Dr. Holsteg is aware not all moonshiners make tainted liquor.
We have a sample bias. So we're getting samples from the Illicit Whiskey Task Force of big operations where people were selling these on the street, as opposed to maybe the local moonshiner who's giving it to neighbors and friends who's going to be much more careful.
Back in the Appalachian Mountains, Roscoe prides himself on making quality liquor. It's crunch time. 3 days after making his mash, Roscoe and his buddy are back on the river, this time with a still.
I think we'll have a good day, make some good liquor, get a start to a good season.
Roscoe uses a professional food-grade stainless steel barrel for his moonshine.
Hell yeah, I'm glad that's over. Let's check our mash situation, see how it's coming.
He's concerned that low nighttime temperatures may have ruined his mash.
It's done.
Now comes the moment of truth.
Get this thing lit up.
As the still heats up, so does Roscoe.
Thing that I don't understand, pay taxes on the corn, pay taxes on the sugar, pay taxes on my propane, I pay taxes on all my equipment, but somehow when you mix it all together and light a fire under it, it's not taxed. I just don't get it.
Making moonshine without a license and not paying tax on it are both felonies. But for Roscoe, there's no turning back.
All righty, that's it. We're now breaking federal law.
At his secret location deep in the Appalachian Mountains, Roscoe and his buddy are making moonshine. The mash is hot, and it's time to build the still.
Now, complete the still.
The still head is a series of copper pipes that turns vapors from the mash into an illegal moneymaker.
Now we're going to establish cold water to condense our alcohol vapor back into a liquid.
Roscoe uses a compact modern still that's both portable and able to produce extremely high-proof alcohol.
You got hot vapors circulating through a cold jacket of water, recondensing into a liquid, the purest alcohol. That's when you are an outlaw. You're stealing money from the federal government at this point in time.
But moonshine can kill. The first few fluid ounces of Roscoe's run are known as the heads. These contain stuff you don't want to drink.
I'm taking the heads off. That bad stuff in it. You always take your heads away. Keep your hearts.
For Roscoe, the financial rewards of running his 55-gallon still outweigh the many dangers.
Very low overhead. This particular still, you're looking at less than $100 a full run. And if you sold all of it, you're looking at potential profits upward around $3,000. It's a very good markup, very low overhead, but you're getting paid for your risk. Let's try to switch these jugs out, maybe get a taste here. That is pure as the driven snow. If I was to bet, you're looking at 150 to 160 proof right here. When you shake it up, the quicker the bubbles disappear, the higher the proof is. That is a full gallon, clear as a bell.
The moonshine trade means big profits for the people who distribute it, bootleggers. But moving shine across state lines is felony tax evasion.
We got everything broke up like how
Yeah, everything's the way you needed it.
Okay.
In Tennessee, a bootlegger's picking up a major order.
Gotta be real careful. Pay attention to your surroundings. Just don't stick out. Very high stress situation every time. Probably one of the most dangerous parts of the whole thing.
When Ohio Mike delivers across state lines, he prefers to make fewer, larger deals.
Drop anywhere from 10 cases one place, 15 cases another place.
Today, as always, evading capture is his #1 priority. He sets up deals in coded language on disposable burner phones.
Certain people I use certain language with, a couple guys I deal with that are in the automotive fields, and I need that crank for that LS motor, and each one is a case of a certain flavor.
The further he travels, the higher the price he charges.
Everything that I take is already spoken for. After it leaves this state, heads up north or east or west, sometimes it skyrockets into $100 a jar.
Moonshine is no longer just a backwoods secret. It's spreading north to the cities, where its street value can balloon up to 400%. And that brings both competitors and imitators. In New York City, illicit booze makers have developed a drink of their own.
Yeah, I got nutcrackers. I got a watermelon, coconut. I got a blue one, it's like a blue Hawaiian. Guys love to drink. And if they ain't got no beers around, they gonna get them nutcrackers. That's how you get right. You like the dark liquor? Which one you want?
I like dark liquor.
It's a sizzling Friday in the Bronx, and Inf is cashing in on his homemade elixir of fruit juice, whiskey, vodka, schnapps, and rum.
INS, INPHA.
Combining customer service with hip-hop hustle, he sells frozen nutcrackers across all 5 boroughs.
Nutcrackers is a part of New York City uptown. It's like in our bloodline. The reason why people get nutcrackers, because instead of them being cooped up in a club and spending X amount of dollars for a bottle, they can just grab a nutcracker for $5, $10 as a cheap, sauce to get drunk.
Over the weekend, Inf aims to make over $4,000, but a street hustle always carries risks.
There's so much activity going on, so any type of movement you making, even on the liquor, you gotta be careful because you never know, police jump out and make it like a real hot situation for you. You don't want to lose your whole quantity. They'll take your whole and just dump it in the street. Yo, don't drink it too fast, though, yo. The police about to make move right now. Oh, God.
Inf has got to think fast. If he's busted, he can lose everything. It's a hot Friday in New York City, and nutcracker seller Inf is double parked and dealing with a little heat himself.
I just bought a hat from the store, but they trying to find my size. They said they had it in the back. Good? about parking.
With the crisis averted, it's back to business.
All right, copy. What's up, bro?
He's in the Bronx, sourcing raw materials for today's batch of frozen nutcrackers.
I want to get 4 cases.
Like a moonshiner, Inf keeps his recipe a closely guarded secret.
What's up, man? The number one thing about nutcrackers is that everybody thinks they know the recipe, but they really don't know the recipe. You got vodka, you got rum, you got schnapps, and then just your different flavoring. The actual street recipe is unrevealed. It's like top secret, like CIA.
Back home, he'll turn all this legal liquor into nutcrackers. Selling them is a high-profit illegal enterprise.
These right here, 16-ounce bottles. They go for $10. That's 150 bottles. That's $1,500. Let's say you just had $40 to your name. You could basically buy 1 bottle of each ingredient and probably make at least $300. Where can you go and spend 40 and make 300 in an hour? Shake. Done.
A last crucial addition, dry ice.
So you just pop one of those in there, and whatever this touches is gonna freeze. And you just zip it, and that's it.
With a trunk full of nutcrackers,
Where you at?
Inf hits the streets.
Oh, how many I want?
And demand is soaring.
4 flavors.
Get that special flavor. You know, like I'll call him for me and say, yo, me and my homie want a few, but he'll get here and it'll be an extra 5 or 6 guys that want some. So it's like, you do the math, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, where you at exactly? Where's Jessup Avenue? Where's that?
Singles are $10 a pop. Inf offers discounts to tempt customers into buying more.
The popular the 4 for 35. That's what, you know, everybody likes the 4 for 35. They feel like they're getting something for free, you know? Typical just Friday, just making money, the American way.
As night falls, the demand keeps rising.
I have an advantage because I offer a service where I deliver. You will have local neighborhood guys, you know, they just have nutcrackers on their block and you go to them. But for me personally, like, you know, my advantage is that, you know, I go to my clientele. 8 of them. 8.
Let me get I like the blue ones.
I could be out sometimes 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm at a 15-hour day. You know, it can be.
For a hustler like Inf, any chance meeting is a business opportunity.
Yo, so you got my IG. You know what I'm saying? If you need a delivery, just hit me, just follow me, and I'll follow back.
All right.
All right, do your thing, baby. All right, cool.
Inf has embraced social media. It's driving the expansion of his underground business.
Facebook, Instagram, you gotta learn how to utilize hashtagging, setting up the right keywords so when someone searches you in Google, your thing pops up first. You just gotta learn the game. The thing about the nutcrackers is that you can actually promote the nutcrackers more than you could on other products. You can't have a crystal meth fan page on Instagram. Yeah, I got nutcrackers, yeah. That's on 35.
It's delicious. It's delicious. It's delicious.
He's on target to sell 400 shots this weekend, and the night's still young.
You say you're on East Tremont? In this business, you can pull in $4,000 in a 2-week span. It just depends on how consistent you are, because it's all about the product. If your customers are satisfied, they'll continue to keep paying for what you deliver.
Inf thinks his nutcrackers trump any southern imports.
Like if I was in the hillbilly woods, forget it, I'd be killing it. There wouldn't be no moonshine over there. Nutcrackers would be the moonshine.
But down in Tennessee, one couple has already cornered the market in flavored moonshine.
So we got 7 peach, 4 pineapple, 4 blackberry.
We'll do some peanut butter and jelly. And I don't use recipes, I don't use measuring cups. I've done it so many times that I sort of just know what it takes. I'll do the friendship tea real quick.
Today they're under pressure to fill an order for an important client.
It's a custom order. It's what somebody specifically asked for.
They make 33 flavors, but they focus their business on supplying a very select clientele.
They give us basically how many of what they want, and so based on that, that's what we make.
Keeping large quantities of illegal liquor at home is risky, so they only produce to order. And they're eager to move their product fast.
We don't store it here, and the other side of that is if it's sitting here and it's being stored here, then obviously we're not making any money off of it.
Same thing in any economics class. As supply goes up, demand goes down. So you can control supply and demand like most manufacturers do, and then as more people want it, we can just get more selective on who we sell it to.
Our price doesn't vary. All the flavors are 20 and clear is 25 a quart.
What started as a hobby has become a crucial source of income.
In 1997, I was diagnosed with a small brain tumor. And so over the course of the last several years, I've had to have multiple surgeries.
Last year, Rebecca had to give up her career in nursing. Since then, moonshining has become a way of life for the couple.
That really kind of kicked us into gear to say we got to be able to pay bills. You know, I'm not going to live on the street. I have a skill set here that I can do to not have to ask the government for assistance and keep me from being a burden to this country. And if that means I got to do something illegal for my family to eat and keep a roof over their heads, sorry.
Culturally, around here, we look up to our outlaws. If you're worried about going to jail or if you're upset or concerned about breaking the law, then you probably shouldn't be doing it.
But there are plenty of moonshiners who are willing to risk capture.
When did you call him? Was it right at?
In Columbus, Mississippi, Rusty Hanna's alcohol beverage control agents are running a sting operation to catch a bootlegger. They set up a deal through a police informant.
He can't run nowhere. I know where he lives.
Jason Counts is the agent in charge of this operation.
It is running rampant. It is running rampant. I mean, it's a lot of moonshine everywhere, and we're doing our best to eliminate it.
Hey, man, you got my stuff?
We've already made one purchase. We purchased 1 gallon from the subject. About a week or so ago, we arranged for him to drop off 10 gallons, and that's why we're here today.
You know, that gravel road across from Cash and Carry Buildings goes back down to the river?
Right.
There ain't nobody back here but me.
All right, we're good. Let's go. Today, the violator could possibly come with weapons. It could turn wrong in just a split second. I mean, you have to be mentally prepared for anything that takes place. As soon as we can see a gallon of it and know that it is here, we will take them down. You ready? He's here. He's here. He's here.
In Mississippi, alcohol beverage control agents are using a confidential informant to set up a sting to try and catch a moonshine bootlegger.
We have 2 males.
When the CI takes off his hat, it's the signal that he's got eyes on the moonshine.
There's the whiskey.
State police, get on the ground, get on the ground, get on the ground, get on the ground, get on the ground.
Get on the ground. Get around, spread your hands. You have any narcotics, any weapons, anything on you?
Yes, sir. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total 11 gallons.
I mean, I see a little bit of trash floating around in it, but I mean, this would definitely kill you. The detail went well. It was textbook perfect. It did have moonshine and did have a weapon in the vehicles. I mean, that's always something that's involved with these guys.
Clear.
All right, you're under arrest for possession of moonshine, unless you want to help yourself and you know the drill.
The agents want to flip the bootlegger and make him turn in his supplier further up the chain.
You got just a couple of minutes to do some soul searching and make your mind up. If not, I'm gonna seize your vehicle. You ain't getting it back. You're gonna be charged with second offense. You're gonna spend about 60 days in the county jail. Choice is yours.
Threatened with jail and the loss of his car, the bootlegger is under pressure.
All right, you done some soul searching?
I'll go.
All right.
How low see can I get him?
All right, where's he live?
He live in Alabama.
You think he could cross over to Mississippi to bring you about 10 gallons?
I'll try to get it.
We can't go to Alabama.
Gang.
Tell them, say, hey, I got your money. I need 7 more, and I'm pushed for time. Meet me halfway somewhere.
Rusty needs to lure the bootlegger supplier across the state line into his jurisdiction to make the arrest.
He's agreed to cooperate with us and to try to help us catch a bigger fish, maybe. And he's going to attempt to make some purchases.
Hey, I need 7 more of them.
7 more what?
Gallons. Can you beat me somewhere?
The bootlegger's so nervous he's shaking.
Hello?
And his supplier might have smelled a rat.
Yeah, just hung up. Ain't gonna talk on the phone.
Mr. Big slips through their grasp today, but Rusty is upbeat.
It's going as good as we expected. Even if we get anything else or not the rest of the day, it's been a successful operation.
But taking down the bigger players is never going to be easy because of the Moonshiner Code.
There's a bond between moonshiners. They don't rat nobody out. They have a bond. There's a limited supply of moonshine out there, and they don't want to give their supplier up for fear that they can't replace them.
Deep in moonshine country, Roscoe is making his first sale of the day.
Today is when the risk turns into reward. Make a little money, get paid for our work. He's picking up 30 gallons. I got about $30 overhead in it. I got about a $90 markup on each gallon, so we ought to make $270 right here. Profit. Gotta do this kind of quick.
Roscoe's buyer is right on time, and the deal is over in seconds.
All right. All the money is there. That's what we're looking for. Let's get the hell out of here.
That's all of those. Now we're gonna have to box it up.
Back in Tennessee, Chris and Rebecca have a tight bond with their bootlegger. Today, they're preparing another order. The mason jars will attract attention, so it's crucial they disguise them.
People get kind of questioned. They'll be like, what are you doing with all them jars back here? So you put it in a box like this. We seal them back. It just looks like you've got an unopened box of oil in the back of your truck. I know basically kind of where it's going because I like to keep track of it a little bit. And I know that they sell it for more money. Well, all right, well, that's fine. I'm not going to go up in price because they're making more money off of it. Again, if I go up in price, it's going to sit here. I don't want it to sit here. I want it gone.
In any black market supply chain, each point of sale is a weak link.
As soon as you sell it or transport it, it's a felony. So a lot more of the risk falls on the next guy.
Ohio Mike is the main distributor for Chris and Rebecca's Moonshine, both locally and out of state.
Go. I'll get back with you the next stuff.
Definitely.
Today's delivery is local, but if he's caught, Mike still faces severe consequences.
It definitely could be bad. Oh, I'd go to prison for a while. Long while. Especially with the quantity that I have. Can't really say it's a personal use type thing. His vehicle sitting on the side of the road, basically just make a quick drop off. Very high stress situation. I definitely do my homework on meeting points, roads wise, which way I can get out. Gotta know where the back door is, so to speak. That black truck right there is kind of where I'm going to.
Making a drop on a public road is extremely risky. Mike could be heading right into a trap. In Tennessee, bootlegger Ohio Mike is dropping off 2 cases of moonshine disguised as motor oil. He's on a public road and he's exposed.
Time to get out of here. A couple oil boxes. Nobody even noticed. Most people are out to become rich. I'm just doing it to make a little extra money to kind of help out at home.
But Mike can't stop. He's a slave to market forces.
Usually on most runs that I do, I get upwards about 1,800 to 2,500. I'm usually out for upwards of a week, depending on how many states I have to hit. It gets stressful when you're hopping state to state to state. Sometimes that money doesn't look that good then.
But now illegal producers and distributors are facing new competition. Changes to state laws have allowed legal moonshine distilleries to open up across the region, selling fully taxed and regulated moonshine.
We've tried to bring that same tradition, that Prohibition-era style moonshine, into what we're doing. Got a 250-gallon still, and we're running it twice a day, about every day of the week.
Distilleries like Sugarlands are introducing moonshine to a much wider consumer base.
Moonshine has become more well-known. There's more interest in it, and there are a lot of people that couldn't get their hands on it before, and now they can for the first time. They get to come through and sample it and see that it's actually very good, and there's a lot of different flavors, a lot of things you can do with it.
In the face of creeping respectability, the black market for moonshine soldiers on.
There's always going to be a certain segment of the population that's going to want that backwoods, illegal moonshine, because that's what they've grown up thinking is real moonshine, and they're going to still be looking for it. You're not going to see the backwoods guys and the guys doing it out of their garage. That's not going to die off.
Just a few miles down the road, Chris is preparing to do another run. He senses the changing tide, but he can't see himself ever going legit.
I would love to do this legally. I would love to do this as a job. I love this that much. I would love to do that. But I don't have the pockets to do that. So that makes it very hard.
You can make beer legally, you can make wine legally. Make up to 50 gallons of beer per person in the household that's over 21. But this is illegal because tax money. Yeah, I'd love to make this out in the open, not hiding, you know, back like we are right now.
You want another one?
Back in the Big Apple, Inf has only just begun riding the nutcracker craze.
Still a lot of people out here that's in poverty. They need different resources to make money. And nutcrackers is one of the best ways to make money because it's low risk, high reward.
Business is booming, and rivals are not a problem.
There's enough money for all the competition to survive equally. 2 or 3 people with the same product can be in the same place at the same time and win.
Down in Mississippi, Rusty still sees and shine.
In the past 12 months in the state of Mississippi, we're seeing and seizing more moonshine than we have in the past 2 or 3 years. I don't believe it's going to die anytime soon. I believe 30 years from now, there'll still be moonshine. As long as there's a demand for it, somebody's going to make it.
No one knows this better than Roscoe. He's still up in Appalachia, still making shine, still one step ahead of the law.
Be a successful moonshiner, you got to be a sort of an outlaw, or you'll never make it. I've been doing it for about 8 years. I still love doing it. You got to enjoy hard work, and you got to have tight lips, because you can't tell on yourself. One of the main motivations is keeping an art going, an old Appalachian art. It's going to die off if people don't take interest. But then again, less competition I have, the better off I ain't.